All right, this video is actually kind of hard to get through without devolving into personal insults. Click the links for Odyssey, Bit Chute, join the channel, subscribe, become a member, or go to the Telegram or the various other links to get a hold of me. I want to say, carefully as possible, if you look like this, just schlubby, a little bit overweight, no jawline, no cheekbones, which is like, hey, it's fine. It's what most of us look like. Although he's kind of young to be this. But the presentation of the uncombed hair, unshaven, like just kind of, I don't know, I did a thing or like whatever. There's no need to post a photo. If you look like Brad Pitt, if you're chiseled, go for it. If you're a hot chick, go for it. If you're looking like what 99% of us look like, we're just a little bit fat and schlubby and, kind of gross looking, don't post a photo of yourself. Just use a little cartoon icon. There's no need to, I don't know, I want to think of this as like, it's like not aggressively ugly, but it's in your face. Like the people at the Marysue, there's like a half dozen chicks at the Marysue who does it, who post their pictures. So you read these articles on this like Kotaku level journalist or the Marysue. You read these articles and it's like, oh, this is some soy boy, whiny bitch made article. And then you look at the pictures of the Marysue and like all the chicks they're 30 years old and they're 30 pounds overweight, and they're wearing this one chick, Lashmer, she's wearing this like formless, shapeless dress, and it's just the potato people. The thing is, like, yeah, okay, listen, if you're over a certain age, you're going to gain some weight. But these people are too young to be this fat. Like, they're in their 30s, and they're easily 30 pounds overweight. When you're in your 30s, you should be a lean, mean, banging machine. You should be having fun when you're 30. It's like 30 is not old. You should not be 30 pounds overweight when you're 30. But the kids these days, my God, they're so damn fat. Anyway, where's I going with this? You don't need to post your picture if you look like the people who work at Kotaku or the people who work at the Marysue. But my other point is that when you read these articles, and then you look at the pictures, you're like, oh yeah, this matches up exactly. Like the chicks they're going to be fat cat ladies who drink a lot of wine, and the dudes are going to be these like, guys who look like they have an inflatable girlfriend and they pay for sex every other weekend. Or they play a lot of video games while drinking Mountain Dew and eating chicken tendies. No offense to the chicken tendy crowd, but you know what I'm saying. There's a certain, like, the exterior matches the interior, like people who are, I don't want to say knee deep in pussy, but people who, because it makes it sound like, Chad Thundercock is kind of an asshole. It's not like that. It's like people who are lean and taking care of themselves and they're happy and they've got their girlfriend or their boyfriend or they're beyond that stage and they're having kids, but they're still eating right and getting exercise. And I mean, keep in mind, your body is 99% diet. It's not gym time. I mean, if you just want to be lean, that's going to be diet is going to control that matrix. Exercise is great, but for the cardiovascular, like go walk up some hills and stuff, but it's going to be diet. Like there's no, I can't afford the special foods. Just eat less. Whatever you're eating now, just eat less. Like when you read these articles about people who are kind of watching other people's pockets or trying to compel other people's behavior with video games or with the Marysue type articles, like, we need to be doing this, translation, you need to be doing what I'm telling you. And then you look at these people, you're like, yeah, I hate to say, like, you're specifically writing this article because you're 30 and fat, but that's kind of what it is. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl. If you're lean and in shape, you're going to be presenting something to the world, and you're going to be getting back something from the world. That's somebody who is just kind of like these schlubby potato people are not presenting to the world. I know how that sounds. It sounds a little bit weird, but I'm going to stick by it because it's the truth. Like these people who, like these Twitter people, these cat ladies, these wine moms, these type, and it's both sexes who do this kind of stuff, who are focusing on like these, I don't know, not the Joe Glass or the Chuck Wendig types. There's like, they're really concerned on what other people are doing. And I can't help but wonder, well, okay, so like, what's your personal, like, what are you doing on a Saturday? Are you getting outside and getting a little exercise? Oh no, I'm on Twitter for 6 hours a day fighting Nazis. Okay. Maybe it's time to uninstall Twitter and go outside, like every weekend. Do something, garden, exercise, do something besides. No, it's really important. You don't understand. I'm fighting Nazis on the beaches of Normandy, on Twitter, digitally, from my couch, while I, smoke a joint and have a couple beers and then eat some Cheetos. Yeah, I can't help but notice, like, you'd probably be happier if you didn't do that. But if I don't fight them, who will? Maybe it's not important to to compel other people's behavior on social media. People you'll never meet and will probably have no effect. No, you don't understand. It's really important. This fantasy world I created for myself is really, really important. Probably not that important. Anyway, so the short summary after that 5-minute intro is that because they're wearing, I don't know, deer skins and using a bow, that there's only one group of people on Earth that used a bow and wore deer skins, and that is the New World American Indian, which is comprised of Eurasians who walked across the land bridge, I don't know, 100,000 odd years ago. And that's one specific group of people who used the bow and wore deer skins. And, you know, most people are thinking, wait a minute, isn't culture develop in stages? Like, if you got the opposable thumb and you can walk upright, one of the stages is like tool use, developing fire, and then you start like figuring out how to use stick. Like, let's get to the stick stage, and then let's get to the napping flint stage, and then using sinew to make, you know, twine and spears, and then that's like one level of development is the spear with there's like fire hardened spears, and then beyond that is attaching, like napping flint and then attaching the flint to the spears. That's a higher level of development. And then peak kind of is when you get to the bow and arrow stage. There's actually a lot of technology that goes into making the bow, and then kind of decades of learning how to use the bow. That's a whole nother level of advancement. It's like, oh yeah, but only the American Indians did that. Have you like looked around the rest of the world? How did you think the rest of the world got to where they are? They just bypassed that stage of development. That's why I show you this picture of this guy, because you look at the picture and you read the article, you're like, yeah, this all kind of makes sense. This is somebody who's in a basement and has a very myopic worldview of, you know, George Soros and the Rothschilds are whispering in one ear about whatever globalist propaganda is current for the day, and he's just parroting it out on a keyboard. Like, a lot of these people are really into parroting information without ever like taking it into the brain for a couple of seconds and thinking, wait a minute, does this meet Occam's razor? Is this empirically true? Or can I, you know, crack a book and see if this makes sense at all? Anyway, so he's saying it's appropriating Native American culture to dress like primitive man at a certain stage of development. I mean, you could as easily say it's appropriating French culture or Nigerian culture, because at one time the people who lived there also went through the same stage of development. I mean, it's a really dumb thing to say, and it's a level of dumbness that you only get when you have comments closed. When you post a Twitter and you have who can reply, and it's, you know, only people that you follow can reply, that's you staying tight in that echo chamber. Where our side of the equation is, we have our comments open all the time. On every video you can go, and like, not on YouTube, I don't control that, YouTube controls that, but on Odyssey, you say anything you want on Odyssey, and people do all kinds of things. And, you know, and then people talk about it, and that's how the best ideas come to the, and, you know, don't get me wrong, a lot of it's a pointless circle jerk arguing over stupid shit, but it's how good ideas will occasionally float to the top, because you got to sharpen these arguments on other arguments. If you don't know your opponent's argument, you don't know your own. So before you're getting so, I really firmly believe this one thing. Okay, we should probably talk to somebody who really firmly believes something else and have a polite discussion. So you propose some ideas, and then he proposes a counter argument, and it makes you think, oh, maybe let me go back, let me work on my foundation, then we'll come back. That's what open comment sections do. And when you go to this guy's article, it's not Kotaku, but it's like a Kotaku type website. You just immediately scroll down to the bottom, you go, oh, where are the comments? Oh, they're missing because they don't exist. Yeah, we don't. Comments are toxic. Wait, are you saying like diversity of thought is toxic? Yeah, basically that's what we're saying. Diversity of thought is toxic. These assholes, they see primitive dress of hunter-gatherer tribes, and in their mind they map it to American Indians instead of Eurasians in general. First of all, mankind wasn't dropped off by aliens in flying pyramids. Europeans are not space angels deposited by intergalactic trucker Jesus Christ, or maybe Thor or Mars or whoever, depending on your pantheon. They were also hunters and gatherers, as I think every group on Earth went through a hunter-gatherer stage. I don't see how they could possibly bypass it, unless you're like a fan of David Brin's The Uplift Wars. David Brin's a sci-fi author who wrote a bunch of really interesting science fiction. He wrote The Uplift Wars, which is kind of makes you it feels like a little bit of a peek behind the Matrix, honestly. It's just science fiction and it's fun, but it's a little bit like some books you read and you read them, you're like, huh. It just feels like like the author's trying to hint at a subtle red pill. I mean, you read it for yourself. He's a really fun author. The thing is, everyone went through the hunter and gatherer stage. I don't know how they would bypass it. They use spear and bow, fire hardened stick, and then, advanced spear techniques 101, and then bow, and you hunted animals and you wore their skins. And there's no way to really get around that. It's not American, New World Eurasian Indian who crossed the Alaskan land bridge. It's not them. It's all humanity went through that stage. It's really hard to talk about this without swearing. And the thing is, I show his picture because I'm guessing he's a young guy. He looks like he's under 30, or at least the picture is. It's something somebody in a basement would make a statement about this. Like, oh, they're clearly appropriating the Indian culture. Really? Because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of pseudo-intellectualism on the internet. And you see guys like this who, these people, I don't know, they claim to value education so much, but if the education is going to college anytime in the past decade or 20, maybe even 20 years, and if you're just learning global... See, when I went to school, I got a science degree, it was different. It was always, we're teaching you how to think and not what to think. And they stuck to that. And it's science. It was science. It wasn't, it's hard to, I mean, you're going to have a hard time putting cultural Marxism in chemistry. It is what it is. It's like things do things. And it's just it doesn't matter what culture you're in. It's like mathematics is going to be mathematics. Although I think they're trying to change that. It's like, well, you're just asking for a cultural suicide if you're trying to do this kind of thing. But these people are not getting chemistry degrees or mathematics degrees. They're getting, liberal arts degrees where they're taught what to think and not how to think, which is, I mean, it's just like you're just writing your own cultural suicide note when colleges start to teach that. Instead of asking questions. Always keep in mind that I always say that one phrase is the truth doesn't fear investigation. If somebody doesn't want you to investigate something, that's something you desperately need to investigate. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.